My costume designer showed me some pictures of ballet companies that have done streetcar as dance, but I'm not aware of any flamenco companies. And I have to say that I'm aware of some flamenco companies that do some narrative story ballet type works, but they don't do them exactly in depth the way I think I do them. I think I'm the only one that I've seen do what I do, which is I really follow the original material and try to bring it to life in dance. But I think a lot of the other choreographers who do this type of work in flamenco, they do it in a more abstract way. They just use it as inspiration, and they do it kind of in an abstract way. And that doesn't really appeal to me very much because of I guess, my theater background and my love for theater. My real, I love classic theater. And so when I started doing these types of works, I started with Euripides, Shakespeare, Chekhov, Strindberg, Ibsen, you know, classic playwrights and authors, even some novels, which I turned into flamenco ballets. There was this Flaubert novel that I came across called Herodias, about King Herod's wife. And it's like the story of Salome and the Dance of the Seven Veils, but from the point of view of her mother, Herodias. So I think what I've really done is I've combined, my two great passions in life, which are classic theater and dance, so that all the great plays that I've always loved and thought of acting in or directing as plays, I've turned them into flamenco works. So I've kind of used that source material and given it a new interpretation. But I try to be so respectful of the original work. And I really pay a lot of attention to the details and the things that can be expressed in dance, maybe in a different way, but whenever there's symbolism or metaphor or a particular character trait, or even particular words, because we have the flamenco singing, so we write all original lyrics in Spanish for the singer to sing. So even certain words are said that have to be said, in the work. So I really think that I've successfully brought together these two things in a way that's very unique. I've seen, some theater works interpreted in flamenco, but I've really never seen it done in the kind of depth that I do it. And also most of the time it's Spanish literature that's done. So it's works by Garcia Lorca, it's Don Quixote, Carmen, and very few dancers in Spain take on works that are not Spanish works. So I think, I think it's very unique. And another thing I did when I started getting enough funding to do this, I would try to hire one flamenco dancer from the country of origin of the playwright. And I thought that would bring a really interesting piece of insight to the work. So when I did a Chekhov play, I brought a flamenco dancer from Russia. And I did this several times, and it really brought a lot to it, because they had such an interesting point of view, because they were raised on it. It was like, they were raised going to, if you're in Russia, you were raised going to Chekhov plays, and, Ibsen, if you're from Norway, it's kind of it's their great writer. And so they know so much about it, and having them interpret one of the characters brings another level to it. So that's been very interesting. And then after that, I mostly started just finding dancers that were right for the role, which is, I've really been very fortunate to find just the right people, for each of the characters, which makes all of the difference. And sometimes I'll choose a play because I'll run across a flamenco dancer that's perfect for a certain character. I'll do the play because of that artist. That's happened quite a number of times. So, the inspiration can come from different areas, but I think I've done now 15 of these works, which it's a large body of work at this point. And people ask me, which is your favorite one? That's people love to ask me, which is your favorite one? And it's like asking, which is your favorite child? Each of them has such a special place. There might be one that has more mistakes than another, but each of them has their own personality and their own strength, their own very special strength. So I can't even say. And the other interesting thing is, a lot of people come backstage or, come to see me after, and they always say, this is my favorite one of all your works. It's always my favorite one. And I think it's because the energy in the moment makes them feel that way. Probably, if they look back, I'm not sure if they would say that. you know, I just think that the energy of flamenco, the intensity and drama of flamenco, the versatility of flamenco is so huge, you know, that you're just blown away when I think when you see this type of work at this level. And it's just so unexpected. It's not the same as when you go just see a flamenco fiesta or a tablao or something, you know, which is great, but it's not as big and deep as this. And people don't expect flamenco to have so many different styles. You know, they're used to seeing the commercial form where it's just, you know, very loud and exciting and spectacular, which is great, but it also has subtlety, you know, and it just has so many. Basically, it's a universal art form. So anything in the human condition can be expressed in flamenco. And that's usually surprising to people. They don't expect that. And, you know, and also like when recently with you know, Streetcar de Seo, someone said, oh, this is definitely the best work you've done. And how do you keep, you know, how do you do this? How you keep getting better? And then I think, well, I hope I'm getting better. I hope I'm developing as an artist. That's the point, right? So I guess I think I'm learning from each of these experiences. The other thing I try really hard not to do is not repeat the same tools. You know, if I find a tool to, I try not to use the same things. I try to find new things, which is very challenging, you know, because when something works, it's very tempting to do it again. So, you know, I usually try to find, you know, new ways to do things, new ways to express them, new ways to reach the audience, new ways to get the point across. So, you know, it's just a very exciting process. And, you know, working with, you know, such high level artists, because usually the main roles are, I bring people from Spain or somewhere else. And then, you know, some of the other roles I work with local people. There are exceptions. There are some local people that are really excellent that have done lead roles. So when you're working with artists at this level, it's just, it's such an exciting process, you know, because everybody brings something else to the table. It's a collaborative work, even though it's my vision and I'm there every minute, you know, to make sure that they're not diverging too much from what my vision is. Because it's still like, even each character has their own process, each artist has their own process. So it's a very exciting thing to bring them all together and find the way to weave them together and make it work, you know, for everybody. You know, that's a whole nother side of it.